Abusia mo bi akwa be de ba kroma TV GH so yaw amo me nsan ene metin. Enche bia na onumonya for doctor Mahmood Bawumia de beto Ghana mountain eso say enche bia na okoto car na okoto japade bia o Ghana card no na chese wuhia ukura Ghana card na chese ye ni wachi na ye koka se ye kohwe wa japade bi na enumom engina eni ye adanse na emom ukura Ghana card na de be ma fast na sa sensem we beto Ghana mountain eso no ena nkrofo bi mu omode onumonya for doctor Mahmood Bawumia adantwa apia se papa wa ye confused onim de okam na ye Ghana card no kura den etimiye emu duro kura uwe kura eduru ye 1 pound na onya de oka no na saa sensem we beto Ghana monte esoro na onumonyamfo bi wato ne bo I explain ni nyina sa wonte papa ni vision no ase a obekasa kwasasem na oka sabe nembom wodwene ene inchirima eho pa a enye afidi agro ibi kura ye se kwama no ne akoto bibia wo se ohia eye ID eye identification card na so Ghana de onmonya for Dr. Mahmood Bawumia kwaka sa asem we NDC fo ni bi omode no ada no twapia e no mototo a ya mpia keka nsemone efa papa no na onmonya fo no de eye NDC fo mahama ene nkrofo akọ school pa wa chiro mo ade popopopo a se bi shi no ebe boa pa ene ye be enjoy e na nchirima so be enjoy popopopo enjoyment time abuso ye kwene kotie kwan ofa so a wo chekere eye onmonya for Dr. Mahmood Bawumia Dr. Tegeta ni visions no emu na ya mena sisi a.
All right, good day to anyone watching this video. I want to do this video to explain something small so that, look, going forward, what we want in this country is ability to understand the vision and where we want to see Ghana in the next 20, 30 years. Some of you who have followed me have always realized that I'm the one that say it as it is, and I always encourage the youth to research and get to know why people say what they say and what they mean. And all the things I'm going to say in this video, you can basically research it or call somebody who lives in London or lives in the US or any part in Europe to find out whether what Kojo Poku is saying is a lie or is the truth. Recently, our visionary leader of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmood Bawumia, said that you can use the Ghana card to buy a car, or you can use the Ghana card to get a car on credit. And on social media, people are jumping over themselves as, that man again, he's promising things that is not possible. Let me take a minute to tell you all these, our brothers and sisters and our youth who are now Japa to Canada or to London, UK, or anywhere in the Western world, when they go, what makes those countries beautiful. I have lived in the UK and I've lived in the US, so I'm in the best position to tell you exactly what happens. One of the things that happens in the Western world, UK, US, Canada, is that everybody has what you call a social security number or a national insurance number. Now, when you're not from the US and you migrate, they will give you a social security number. If you are not from the UK and you migrate, they will give you a national insurance number. Now, in the case of the US, your social security number is almost everything. It's like your DNA. Now, you are given an address where you live when you go to the UK, and when you go to the US. And if somebody is to now stop you on the road and say, hey, my friend, where do you live? You say, I live at this address. And the person, the police or whoever can go in the computer, and if you have done any transactions, your name will pop up as a resident of that address. And if they enter your social security number, you will come up as that address. Now, there is something called credit in the Western world or in the US. The difference between people who live in the US and all these countries is that it's not that they work and they have more money than people who live in Africa or Ghana. In Ghana, you earn $3,000 a month. That's all the money you have access to. In the US, if you earn $1,000 a month, maybe you have a credit card that has a limit of $5,000. So in that month, you can spend the 1,000 cedis that you have or $1,000 that you've gotten from work, and you have a credit on your credit card of about $4,000 or $5,000 that you can use to buy things. How do you now get these credit cards? Or you live in a house and one day you get a letter through the post and said you've been pre-qualified for a car. Then you go and then a down payment of, let's say, 10%. If the car is $20,000, with a down payment of 10%, you now drive away with a brand new car. Why is that? The reason they are able to do that for you in the US is that you have an address where it shows up that that's where you live. So you have a unique address, which in Ghana we have tried to do through the digitization of giving everybody a GPS address. So you have everybody now in Ghana has an address. In the US, you need a unique address to be able to have letters, and when people are looking for you, they know where you live. Then you will now be able to be given a social security number. With your social security number, if you enter the US today and you are given a new social security number, you have bad credit. What is bad credit? Bad credit is when you don't have any record of credit. So how do you get good credit, or how do you get a good credit score? You have to start taking certain small things, like maybe a store card, or they will give you a small credit card, which is high interest. But the thing is that you take like 100 cedis from the card, and every month you pay something small. So you have to engage in some sort of credit, okay, so that you will build your credit and your credit score will go up. When your credit score goes up, it means you've taken something on credit, you have a record that you pay back the interest plus the principals or something small every month. Then after maybe 2 years, 3 years, your credit score will go up. And then you can walk into a car showroom and buy a brand new car on credit. All these things is possible because you are traceable. The only reason nobody wants to give nobody money in Ghana is that you don't have an address. Where do you live? Oh, you know that Methodist church around the corner and Second Junction on the right, you see some market woman selling yadwa. Yes, you 2 houses from there, that's my house. Nobody will give you credit if that's where your address is. Today, we have the digital address system. So if you go to the bank will ask you, give me your digital address, and that will pinpoint where you live. So in front of your house, there's a digital address. If you give it to a bank, the bank is looking for you. They don't need to ask you and you tell them about the around the corner and all the stories we tell when we are trying to tell people where we live. So banks can now find us with one digital address, which is a good thing. The next stage is that everybody now has a Ghana card. In and on that Ghana card, you have your biometrics, which is your fingerprint and your eyes on there. Then you have a unique Ghana card number. These days, when you go to the bank, you can't withdraw money without giving them your Ghana card number. So gradually, we are being able to identify individuals with a Ghana card number and a digital address. So today, if I'm looking for you, I know your address, and also I can go into the system and be able to pull up a unique identification that is for you. All this digitization of our economy is doing is reducing the risk of finding people, is reducing the risk of, if I give you 2 cities, I know where to find you tomorrow. Because even if you are not in your house, there is a number. You go to work and your employer will need your number. You go to the bank will need your Ghana card number. Everything you try to do in Ghana today, you need your Ghana card number. So it's easy to trace you. So it means that the risk of giving you something and you disappear has now reduced. So when the visionary leader, Dr. Bawumia, now says that you are going to be able to get a car on credit, all he's trying to say is that you might not be asked the collateral. You might not be asked all the things banks will ask you because they can trace you. So if you have a job and you have an address that is verifiable through the digital address and you have a unique number, the bank is not scared giving you credit because, one, your bank knows that you have a job. Your bank knows your address, and your bank knows that you cannot default. Yes, you can default because people do default even in the Western world. But what does that do? That means that you can't go somewhere else and take another credit. So it has reduced the credit in the system, and we have now done what? digitalized our economy. That is why it's possible that in the future you'll be able to go to a bank or go to a car showroom and drive away with a car on credit. Because to build a credit economy, we need to have verifiable address. We need to have a verifiable number which is unique to you. So you cannot just take it and disappear. All these things and many more that is to come to help us to basically build a robust economy like what they have in the West is what Dr. Bawumia is trying to do. And it gets confusing when people say that, oh, but Ghana for the way and here. But if you japa to Canada, if you japa to America or UK, you are going to go there and learn these things. And they learn it quick. Ghanaians travel and they learn everything quick. So I beg you, let's try and understand what the visionary person is trying to do. All these digitalization, all these trying to create a unique identity for everybody through the Ghana card, through every single thing that the government is doing, is to help you and I have access to credit in the future. And that is why Dr. Bawumia is saying that you can buy a car with your Ghana card on credit. Is because there would be a time when we would have a credit rating where people who take credit and pay.
Now, Omaya Dishin, same saying that Olumunyan for no order eto Ghana mountain eso. Eha, Akuroma TV GH so. Yaw, amwa mensa enemy, Macramu.